Well, good evening, everybody. Allison Slaughter-Zinski for the Brevard Sports Network. You know, the holidays are the family time of the year. And, you know, for over a year now, I have been communicating back and forth with Kyle Walters and talking about interviewing arguably, and I say arguably because there's some great sports families in this county. And but undoubtedly, at the top of the list right here is the Walters family. And on your screen right now, from left to right, are some fantastic athletes, great people, siblings, brothers and sisters. And tonight here, we thought we would come down and do this interview and just have a lot of fun, talk about playing sports, talk about family, talk about sibling rivalry, because I'm sure all of it exists. From left to right on your screen, she is a current senior at Bayside High School. And sitting next to Jenna is a Major League pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. That's Andrew Walters. And next to Andrew is his brother, pitcher at the University of Miami, Brian Walters. And next to Brian, the best two-sport athlete in the family, I will add, and that's Allie Walters, who is attending UCF. Good evening, Walters family. It's great to be here. First question I have, and anybody can take this. So let's start off right. Who's the best athlete in the family?
Oh, it's me for
me.
sure.
All right.
Definitely
All right.
me.
Okay. All right. So you jumped in pretty quick, Allie. Tell me, why are you the best athlete in the family?
Well, I was the only one to play two sports. Captain of both volleyball and softball. I mean, you could say my brother played football, but that was, yeah. My sophomore year, playing softball, we went to the Final Four. Mm-hmm. And then my senior year, we won a state championship for softball.
Okay. Andrew, you jumped in on there pretty quick, too. That's tough to beat. Why is it you?
I mean, I think even my microphone and mouth skills pretty quick there. So
Right.
had to add that in there. But no, I mean, I guess I was the firstborn, so you know I had to pave the way for these 3 here, so to speak. But a lot of competition growing up, so I like to own my spot at the top for sure. So
You're the youngest, right? You're the baby of the family. Which one of the three? I'm going to put it on you. Who would you say is the best athlete of the three?
Myself.
I like that. Listen, you had an outstanding year. No, to keep the microphone, because we'll start with we're going to start with you. You had a great year, and I want to ask each of you a little something personally about your sport and what you do. But you had a great year, Bayside volleyball. You know, actually, you and your sister are a part of something at Bayside that took years to cultivate and build. But you could really see the fruition of it this year with what you guys did. And that started a couple of years ago. How does it feel to be a part of a program that has grown the way it has? And you are a big part of that.
It's special to be a part of it. I don't know.
Allie, you help do this. What would you say about that volleyball program specifically?
It started off a little, rough, trying to just get players. There's so many different schools around. And like for me, there was 5 of us seniors, and we had all started as freshmen.
Right.
And we just stuck it out through, and we grew, and we played club. And my senior year was great because of that.
You guys, brothers, you guys had the opportunity, I think, for maybe a year and a half. I think it was at Bayside that you played baseball together, and then college. And then, Brian, I think, if people don't know, you guys had the opportunity to do this at Miami, but then the arm injury came.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that a little bit, and I know you've talked about this ad nauseum, but there's a lot of people in this county that don't know about that. Talk about that time period and playing with your brother and how that happened and how the relationship grew from that.
No, for sure. I mean, my brother's always been my best friend from the beginning. Right, we competed against each other forever and played with each other, starting in Little League. But once we got to Bayside, it was super special because at that point, I wasn't only a pitcher, so I was on the same field with him at the same time.
You're a second baseman, shortstop?
Yeah. Second baseman. I was the little guy behind him. But you know what? Like that brought a lot of stress, to be honest with you. But no, our relationship only grew from there. We continue. I honestly, after high school, I wasn't sure we were ever going to play again. You know, and getting the opportunity to come to Miami, not only to play together, but to live together. You know, me and my brother's relationship grew tremendously from that point on. Obviously, leading up to the year was probably the coolest experience, if not anyway, the coolest experience ever. But it was short-lived for me on the mound. I lost my season due to a Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like, you know, God is good, and me and him being together the entire year didn't change anything, so I wouldn't change it for the world.
I read an interesting article, and I think it speaks to who you guys are, not just as individuals, but as a family. And when you hurt your arm, the first person you thought of was who?
My brother.
Yeah. Why is that?
Me and him, you know, we went through that whole year, and not only life, but we've always, you know, been through so much together, right? So it was like, you know what? I wanted to compete this year just as much for myself as I wanted for him.
Right.
It meant more to me that he came back to play with me. You know, he
had
opportunities to leave Miami, and my brother chose me over a lot of those things, which was super special to me. So for him to do that, man, and even in that moment, in the saddest moment, the only thing I could think of was my brother standing in the dugout, and that was the first person I saw when I came through after it. So it was special, and to see, you know, him emotional for me. I mean, after that, you've never seen a relationship grow so tight.
Yeah, no doubt. And I saw you appeared in 15, 16 games last year. So welcome back, and congratulations on getting back, because that's not something that's, that is when you're talking about injuries, that's the one. Andrew, that's a terrific story. And so what was it that brought you? What did you come back to Miami?
Honestly, it's
Hold
just
that.
like
Pull that. Yep.
Hold up.
Yeah.
It's honestly just one of those things that it dates back to high school. Like I remember high school vividly, but then it got to a point where I got to play with my younger brother on the same field. So flashback a couple years later, you know, I had an opportunity. I had a great season at Miami. I had an opportunity to take my talents further, but it kept lingering in the back of my mind that I could possibly play collegiate baseball with my younger brother. And I can't say that for most people that have a brother, but I would say that's one of the coolest, things I could possibly ever do. So keeping that in mind, I asked the draft for, a decent amount of money to get me to leave there. I thought it would be right for someone to invest the amount in me, then I would invest that amount in them. But my price was high because, of the experience that I could share for the rest of my life. So
you knew what you wanted.
Yeah, I chose, based off, some life-changing circumstances, and I made that decision.
I tell you what, and I talked to your dad about this, the decision to play at Eastern Florida State, and what, I thought it was a great decision. Why did you choose to play at Eastern Florida State?
It was for that reason to play Division I baseball.
Yeah.
I've always watched, the College World Series on the couch at my house, and I wanted to be one of those guys on that TV. So I knew that was a stepping stone. I wasn't ready quite out of high school, so I knew I had to make an adjustment and decided to go to junior college because that gave me an opportunity within those 2 years to get a chance to go to a big D1 school like Miami.
And you played for Jason Arnold, right?
Yeah.
Great coach.
Guy.
Great. Young guy's been there, done that. Yeah. So great mentor there. Ladies, you played together on the volleyball court. What was that like? This is a great story. Can you match it?
Yes, it was great, but it was also hard too. Butt heads a lot.
Sure.
I would say something to make her mad.
Okay.
Always, but overall, it was great, and it was something that I won't be able to do again, but I'll always cherish those moments.
What'd you learn from your sister in the time you played with her?
To be smart on the court, because she's really technical with things. I'm more of like just go up and hit the ball as hard as I can, and she's the more of let me try to score. So whenever I would sail the ball into the 50-foot out to the backboard, she would get a little upset at me. So
take me back. Okay, I want to start. I guess anybody can take this question. I want to go back to when you guys were kids. Okay, I know there's a lot of fishing and hunting that goes on. What's it like, the four of you growing up? Take me through a day in the Walters household growing up.
Oh man, I mean,
Hold that up just a little more. Yep.
the one thing I can say is when we're walking around the house and we pass each other, something's being said. Just something funny, something a little nudge, or
Right.
Sometimes hit into the couch. Just something funny, and it was always fun. I mean, they were always out fishing. They'd come. Jenna one time was fishing out at our old house, and she just brings a bass right inside.
Right inside.
Just holds it up to my parents, and yeah. So
Rest in peace to that.
Yeah. What is a memory you have, Brian, growing up? I mean, something that just when you're down in South Florida, man, and maybe you're by yourself and you're thinking about things, and what pops into your head about your childhood?
Honestly, I mean, everything about my childhood was good. Right, I had an amazing family, but having siblings was incredible. Me and my brother, I mean, I think I spent more time with him than anybody.
Right.
But at least everything was fun. I mean, me and him would, if something was going, we'd just go fish. No matter what was happening we'd just go fish. We would go hunt. We would go, honestly, shoot each other with airsoft guns just to have fun. You know what I mean? And just how much I enjoyed my childhood is what brings me back to that. I could speak on every single aspect of it, and, it was good.
And I'm going to ask this because this is always a cool question. I got a brother that's 10 years younger than me, and it wasn't until I was 30 when he turned 20 that we, and then I had to kind of march back to my teenage years a little bit because I wanted to have fun with him. So here's the question, and you don't have to answer because I'm going to be able to tell by your faces, okay? How much fun, and when I say fun, how much fun have you guys had? How many secrets we got that we won't ever know?
Way too many.
We had a great time.
Yeah,
that's all I can say. We had a great time. The time was fulfilled.
laughing and crying.
Laughing and crying. I hear you. Tell me about your parents. Tell me about, Miss Angie. Tell me about Mr. Kyle. Tell me about your parents because they have raised four terrific kids. And, look, I'm 54. I'm proud of my daughter. But I couldn't imagine what it would be like to raise four successful kids. And I know you're all adults, but as a guy that's got a 26-year-old daughter, kids, tell me about your parents.
I mean, they were great. They're amazing still to this day, forever. But they're always there, no matter what. They're supporting every decision, good or bad. I mean, okay, yeah.
I'm gonna ask him about that one right there. Good or bad?
Any decision.
That's all right.
I'll tell you. Mom and dad are always there for us, right? Like one of the biggest things we cherish about our mom and dad is always being present.
Got you.
And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Right.
And then countless amounts of lunches my mom would pack me. Tell you what, it takes a lot to be that big.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, mom always taking care of us and dad always motivating us, Like, there was never a moment my dad wasn't teaching me how to do the right ways to do things, right? Depending, that was with my teammates, with my buddies, with my friends, how to be a proper sibling, how to be a proper man, right? There's still moments I go to my parents, with everyday things in my life to learn how to do it right? Those are my first calls, and always will be.
Andrew, when I was growing up, my mom, if my dad was the disciplinarian, if I wanted to get away with something, I went to my mom. If I needed a couple of extra bucks, believe it or not, I'd go to my dad because my mom would tell me to go out and mow the lawn, right? So who's the one, Mom, can I go? Or Dad, can I go? Who's the one that's going to tell you yes?
Well, my mom will always say yes.
Yeah.
She would always be, you got to ask your dad.
Oh.
That was the tough question growing up because I was always hesitant to ask my father, but my father would always give me the for sure right answer. So I had to ask him eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
As the youngest, you're getting ready to go away. So this is going to be the empty nest, and I'm going to ask your parents about that coming up. So how do you remember it growing up? What is, because my poor brother, and I have a sister that's in the middle, and I know we gave him the business. How was it for you?
It feels like you have to look up to them.
Right.
And like when you see them do these big things, you're like, oh, I have to do that too. So like they're like really inspiring to me.
But and you did. You signed in. Tell me, you're a major league pitcher. You're at the University of Miami, nursing, right? You're 2-sport star. How proud of you were you of her the day she signed her national letter of intent?
Oh, so proud.
Yeah.
I was so excited for her.
How about you?
I mean, honestly, like I know Jenna put a lot of pressure on herself in those moments, and like to see her fulfill a dream like that. I told her, I said, no matter, it doesn't matter what it is that you do. Like, we're always going to be proud. But for her to do that, and, like, she always would she would call me, and we really look up to you guys. Like, I want to be like you. Like, she would tell me that. And I was like, you know what, Jenna, like, you just keep doing what you're doing, and stuff like that will happen. And Jenna worked hard for it. And to see her, accomplish that goal just like we did, it was incredible. So.
Yeah, I mean, watching Jenna sign that letter was, one of the coolest moments I got to experience. I feel like I was in that seat at one point. But, she asked me, we really look up to you and Brian, but at the same time, I had to tell her it's just a game, and we're out there having fun. There's nothing different where you're at. I mean, obviously, where I'm at, there's a level to it that's a little different, and where Brian's at, but she's going to feel the same way. But, yeah, it's just a game. We're having fun. That's been instilled in us since we were real young.
That's a great segue to the next question for you, which is watched you do a lot of things over the last 18 months really, really, really fast. 1 minute, we're writing a story about you being drafted and what you're doing in the minor leagues. And the next thing you know, I'm sitting in my recliner in my living room on a Saturday watching you come out of the bullpen in the ALDS. Talk about these 18 months a little bit, if you could, and kind of how maybe growing up in a competitive household with your great parents kind of prepared, because this is a whirlwind of a year and a half. Talk about that.
I mean, it all started when I was really young, and my dad and my brother out there, including my mom, it just taught me how to be a competitor and hard worker, and as well as just having fun. That was probably the biggest thing I could take away for anybody, is you got to enjoy it in order to, progress. And the 18 months was probably, honestly, the fastest 18 months I've ever been a part of. There's a lot I could unpack, but it was so fast, and I try to recall it all the time. But, I mean, it was just a great time devoting all of my efforts to playing ball and improving myself and being a part of some great teams, some great people, and getting the opportunity to play in the major leagues. At the end of that, I would have never thought that was going to happen. But I'm very thankful for that opportunity, and I couldn't ask for a better first season playing professional baseball. I'm
not going to sit here and ask you how you felt then, how you felt about this, how you thought. But what I do want to know, because I was curious at the moment, I thought, when eventually I get to sit down and talk to him, you're coming out of that bullpen in the ALDS, that place. I'm watching it on TV. Okay, I've been in a lot of stadiums, been to Super Bowls. I've heard a lot of crowds. I don't know that I've ever heard one that loud, and even on TV. So you're coming out of the bullpen. That's got to be a special moment for you, knowing you're walking on there, you make the postseason roster, and now you're pitching in the ALDS. What's going through your mind as you're warming up and getting ready to hit that mound?
Honestly, I had like a little flashback when I was walking down those stairs.
Really?
I feel like I was sitting on this couch right here watching the TV and watching so many guys run out of that bullpen.
Okay.
Like, I'm actually about to run out of this bullpen onto this field like I've seen in all these videos, and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to sprint out this gate, and I'm going to run all the way to the mound. I'm just going to soak it all in. It was something I never thought I'd be able to do, and honestly, I was super nervous.
I'll bet.
For the first time, I was like, I don't know how to act or feel right now, because I honestly didn't feel any step.
I was going to say, could you even feel your legs?
On the way from those stairs all the way to the mound, I didn't feel a single thing, but I could see the crowd, and it was loud, and I could tell you that. And, yeah, it was a
great moment, man.
For sure.
Congratulations on that. I mean, that's a special moment, and I got goosebumps watching. It was really, really, really cool. All right, let's kind of, let's get away from sports for a minute, okay, for a couple of minutes. All right, Allie, how does this family relax? And I got a feeling I know the answer to this question, but when you guys just want to relax, I mean, is it like do you guys is there a family game night you had growing up, or I mean, how do you guys relax?
Well, if I'm going to be honest, my dad, he lights up the grill
Right.
out in the back, and he cooks some nice steak.
Yeah.
And we just eat.
And just have a good time and hang out and eat. And you all really, truly, and, you know, I know a lot of families will say this, but I can see it in your face. You guys really enjoy each other's company, don't you? I mean, it's like, it's almost like there are a lot of families where it's a chore to get together and spend time together. But you guys really seem to enjoy that. Brian, what do you think the secret to that is?
Just spending time with him. You know what I mean? You really get to know somebody the more you spend time with them. For us, we spent a lot of time together. I think one of the biggest things I missed leaving for college was stuff like that. Just being able to wake up in the morning and grab a coffee and watch college game day on Saturday with my dad.
Right.
Like, that was one thing I really missed. And that's so simple, right? Seeing my brother every day, getting to see them, is something you will miss. And my biggest thing to anybody is spend as much time as you can. And, like, this moments like this make it even more special. We're all back. You know, that doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I mean? Like, and to cherish that time too. Spend as much time as you possibly can here with mom, with dad, cooking up and eating good food, just like I said. But just all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Okay, so it's not always wine and roses, right? Families have issues. We all do. So what is like? What's the pet peeves here? I mean, like, what drives you all crazy about each other?
Well, my sister likes to take my stuff. I get mad for a little bit, but at the end of the day.
Yeah, my little brother, my little brother used to do the same thing. Jenna, what's your pet peeve?
Her not letting me take her stuff.
I like that. Yeah, right. Now you guys have a great relationship, obviously, but come on, what are the pet peeves here?
I guess I don't really have one, but his would be for me. It's probably not as clean as him. I
feel like we argue about the time more than anything. How long it takes to do something, or what time we need to leave, or what time we need to get back. We're never on time, and we're constantly going back and forth about what time we should do something. And yeah, we get into fair share arguments about that. Yeah.
All right, here's a fair question for you guys. Your dad is a phenomenal athlete, and your uncle, of course, was a phenomenal athlete. You know, he's in the lore of Miami history, right? Miss Angie, did you play sports?
Played 4 years of softball at Florida Tech.
4 years of softball at Florida Tech, Mom played, right? So you come from a very, very competitive family, great athletes. Did you feel that pressure? I mean, I've seen your dad in the stands and mom in the stands, and not that they're not those parents, if you know what I mean, right? But did you feel that pressure? I mean, because that's a lot to carry.
Honestly, I don't think I ever did. I think as growing up as kids, they taught us sports were supposed to be fun. And that's all I remember sports ever being. There was probably times where I didn't like it and I didn't want to do things, didn't want to get in the truck and go to practice. But what I do remember, every game I had a great time, even though there's some things I did bad that needed some correcting at times. But we grew up as sports needed to be fun. I mean, we played them even after a game. We'd come back to the house and play some more. So it was those things that, I wish most people would feel. Sports would be fun. I've seen the other side of it.
Yeah.
I feel like
I don't get that impression
like,
here. Yeah,
that's what drove me to go as far as I did, because I truly, honestly enjoy everything about it.
Because unfortunately, a lot of times those student athletes don't succeed at a high level. They don't even get to the highest level because of the push so much. All right, so we kind of settled who the best athlete was. What I want to know is so you said honestly, it's just grilling out and having fun, right? How do you relax? Like when you're away from the family, what do you do?
I guess I disconnect. And for me, that's fishing.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Andrew down at Sebastian Inlet, a couple rocks, a couple rods.
What do you like to catch? Bass?
Oh, snook.
Snook, okay.
Big snook.
I got you. What's the biggest snook you ever caught?
41, 42 inches.
Wow, okay.
Decent one. Not too bad.
So what do you like to do to relax? I mean, on the road when you 2 months in Cleveland, how are you relaxing? How do you turn it all off, man?
See, that's very tough, to be honest with you. There's so much going on all the time. Honestly, I like to sleep.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I feel like what this season has taught me is we really need to sleep.
Gotcha.
I disconnect from everything, and I got to get some rest.
I said, no, I'm not going to feel so bad
Simple
about
as
it.
that. No, it's good. It's healthy. You know, you just got to disconnect from everything. You got to get some rest. I feel like that's the best, disconnect.
When you headed off to Missouri?
January 8th.
So you are early enrolling, ready to go. You scared? You nervous? Talk about it.
I'm nervous, but
Are you?
I'm more excited than anything.
Now, you're going in the middle of winter. You're a Florida girl, right?
Yeah.
You ready for these cold winters there? Checking the temperatures every day. You got a winter wardrobe yet?
I do have some winter stuff.
What are you
not a
looking
lot.
what are you looking forward to the most when you get there?
Training with a college team.
Yeah.
Like working out every day, being on a meal plan, going to practice, like having a plan, not having to like do it yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the first thing that always struck me was the travel, how the travel changes from like high school, and Andrew and you guys, I know you guys can speak to this, but when you go from high school where you're on school buses and then maybe you get a charter and then all of a sudden, man, you're walking out on a tarmac, you're like, yeah, something's different here, right? This is how it's supposed to be, and they're handing you room keys and envelopes. It's an absolute great feeling. Down the line, we'll start with you, Jenna. What are you most proudest of? As you look back on all of it, your family, your siblings, mom, dad, what are you most proudest of?
Wait, can you re-explain that?
Well, like when like if I asked you to describe your family in a sentence, how would you describe your family?
Hardworking and dedicated.
Yeah.
I'd say we're all very close, very, very loving family. We all love each other a lot.
That's hard to do with 4 kids. How would you describe your family? What are you proudest of? And if I gave you a sentence, what would you say? You can't repeat what she said.
I'm just proud that we all still enjoy coming back to the house and enjoying time together. Very obviously hardworking, dedicated family that really enjoys sports in general, and we always keep God in the center. And I feel like that's a very important part, to who we are as a family. And it's just being, connected in that way, and I don't think that'll ever change, no matter how many years go by.
I like that.
Yeah, for me, I'd say a present family, right?
Mm-hmm.
My family's always there for me. It doesn't matter where I'm at, what I'm doing. It's one phone call or if it's one drive, they're always there for me. And I love what he said, again, God-centered family. That's what makes us go around, and that's why I think it's such a special relationship. Here with us and also the community. We love our community. We love where we come from. So
it's toughest to be able to have to answer this question last, but go ahead.
So, one thing for me is I know God had a different plan for my life for college sports, and it's just really cool for me to be able to, because, college sports, consumes you when you're in season.
You miss it?
Something every day. Yes and no.
Yeah.
You have, something every day, but for me, it's, I can go to games every weekend. Jenna has a game, I can just go. So that's what is super cool about.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you want to be?
I want to be a nurse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you still going to right here in Florida, staying home?
Travel nursing has always been an interest to me, so wherever
that's
that
cool.
takes
What do you
me.
like best about UCF? What do you like about it over there?
It's close to home. I can come home when
right.
I want. And just, the community there, it has everything, every sport that I can go watch. I met some amazing friends there too.
Obviously, Miami, is ingrained in this family's soul. What do you like about being a Hurricane? If I said to you, tell me about what's it like to play Miami baseball. It is one of the most popular college baseball programs in the world, every year vying for national championships. What's it like to be a part of that program?
It's an honor in a sense. You know that when you walk into those gates, how special it is to be there. A lot of history, a lot of people, and a special family connection for us, right? My uncle being there, we've been Canes fans since birth. You know what I mean? I bleed orange and green. We always say that. From an early age, me and Andrew watching those games, we want to be there one day, right? And getting to be able to do that was super special. But to this day, every time I walk in that stadium, I get goosebumps.
Unless you're Eli Manning or John Elway back in the day, you don't get to tell people who can pick you. So you're a Cleveland Guardian. So my question for you is, what's one thing about Major League Baseball that you didn't expect that you learned about it?
I mean, honestly, the only thing I can really think of is it is a business, but the people there and the resources there are beyond measure. Like there's people for everything that you need as an athlete devoted to you, and I did not expect that at all out of Major League Baseball. I thought I was going to have to, navigate a little bit of the journey on my own. I knew the minor leagues wasn't going to be as nice as what I did in college, but there's an immense amount of resources that I come to learn, and I did not know those things about, playing professional sports.
Wow. Okay. Jenna, and I don't think I've ever asked you why you chose the college you chose.
It just felt right. When I went there, felt like it was almost like made for me, like plan that God had for me. Walked around campus, felt the energy coming from all the players, how nice they were, how welcoming they were. You could see that it was somewhere that I would fit in well. Coaches were amazing, and it just felt really right to me.
Very cool. All right. So as we get set to wrap up here, Andrew, I told you I've been talking to your dad a little bit, right? Okay. So
Yeah, of course.
I know that I know you guys all have personal lives off the field as well, and so I'm going to show you a picture.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And that picture will be on the screen, and those that can put it together can put it together. They can do whatever they like with it. Pass that picture over if you would for me. 4 or 5 years ago at Brevard Sports Network, we did a Mount Rushmore of women athletes and a Mount Rushmore of male athletes in Brevard County. And the young lady on there, I believe she's second from the left, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a terrific athlete, but what's it like to maybe not even be the best athlete in your own relationship?
I've actually thought about this multiple times. I've never been more okay with something ever. She's a very amazing woman in what she does, but she relates to me and what I do, and I relate to her and what she does, and we couldn't, ask for something better as two people together.
I find it utterly amazing that you, and we're talking about Lexi Dennenberg, and Lexi, I think it's absolutely amazing that you guys are together, because when you think about sports families, and you're going to talk about another sport, the Dennenbergs are it too. So here's a Walters and a Dennenberg, and it couldn't be any better. And congratulations on all of your success with that. Yeah, I had to, man. I absolutely had to do it, man. But listen, guys, thank you for allowing me into your lives for a night. I truly appreciate it. Happy New Year. Good luck. I'll be cheering all of you on. And if I ever need help, I hope you're my nurse, right? You got it. So once again, from left to right on your screen is Jenna Walters, Andrew Walters, Brian Walters, and Allie Walters. We'll be right back here on Brevard Sports Network with Kyle Walters and Angie Walters, the parents of these magnificent people. Hey, welcome back here. Outstanding interview, and had a lot of fun with the Walters siblings. But now on your screen right now is mom and dad, Angie Walters and Kyle Walters. And first of all, Angie, Kyle, thank you for having us here. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate this and the opportunity to come into your home and be able to do this. So thank you. So I'm going to start with the same question. I'm going to put you guys on the spot here before we get into you guys. Who's the best athlete?
Me.
Jenna.
All right, how about between you two? Angie played 4 years of softball at Florida Tech. You're a national champion bass fisher.
I did.
And you played
basketball.
Basketball, right?
Yeah.
Probably Kyle.
All right. Okay. Well, just because he can fish. Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. All right. So you got to sit there and listen. My mom heard an interview like that. She would absolutely just, her heart would melt. I mean, first of all, congratulations on 4 great kids.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. But I know it wasn't easy. Talk a little bit about raising 4 kids with the character and the just the people that they are. Talk about that.
Each one of them had a different challenge from time to time. It wasn't always as easy as maybe it looks on the interview, but they're all four great kids, hardworking. You know, we did a lot of work, you know, around here. Hardworking kids make good grades. You know, sports was very important to them, but like Andrew said, we tried to have sports was definitely something we instilled in them, but more for the hard work, and then it worked out. But we always wanted to have fun. You know, and you've been to a lot of games and watched, you know, the kids play and watched them and things like that. So, you know, we're glad they had fun. You know, never in a million years did we think we'd have 3 Division I athletes, and Allie was an incredible athlete. She definitely could have played college ball.
Yeah, she definitely could.
Definitely, and you know, something you don't think about when you're playing Little League.
Right.
You want the kids to excel and do the best they could, and now they're making us obviously making us proud. But we've enjoyed it the whole way.
Man, I mean, you got the perfect split: 2 boys, 2 girls. That's pretty cool, right there. I mean, you talk about, you know, raising four great kids and how you did it. How did you do it?
I mean, it was a grind at times, but I loved every minute of it,
Yeah.
honestly. And from the time they started T-ball, you know, Andrew at 6 years old, the girls when they were probably 6 and 8, maybe, we had fantastic people all the way through.
Yeah.
Little League softball and baseball was so fun, and you're with your people, you're with your community that you're in, and then you go on to high school. You know, even in junior high, Jenna did track, and it was fabulous. It was great. And then you go on to high school, and even going into college, same thing. We had fantastic people all the way through, coaches that helped them. You know, Kyle coached the boys, I coached the girls a little bit when they were younger. And then we just had people come behind us, and then we made great friends throughout the whole thing.
Good friends are important to have.
Parents of all the people that we played with.
Yep.
I mean, it was just great. We had a lot of fun.
You know, let's just talk about you guys a little bit. So you both went to Florida Tech. How did you guys meet? I mean, you know, how did that come? You're from Indiana, you told me, right? Mm-hmm. Came here on a scholarship to play softball and knew no one. So how'd that happen?
My senior year is actually when Kyle had come in, so I was a little older. And was just toward the end of my senior year. We just kind of started talking, and then he took me fishing, and that was the end of that.
Had you fished before?
I had.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay. So there was something in common there.
Yeah, and then it just kind of went from there, and that was.
It was a test, Alan.
Right.
Good looking softball player. I said, let's see if she can catch a fish. And she caught a bass on our first trip.
Really?
I might want to take her out a second time.
No pun intended. No. That's a keeper.
Yeah, then then even better, she caught a snook.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we did that, and then the rest is history. But no, I played obviously on the baseball. Florida Tech, and you cover them.
Yeah.
It's still a tight knit amongst the teams. So, you know, I knew the softball team well. Me and Angie used to watch the baseball. Funny enough, no kids baiting. We'd go watch the baseball games. I was a big baseball fan, and then I'd watch her play softball. They would, you know, the whole softball team would come to the basketball games. And it was a good time. What
advice? You know, I always ask great parents like yourselves. What advice do you have for other parents? I mean, you know, I look around these youth sports facilities now, and it has changed immensely, and. You know, I still think there's something to be said, learned, and taught from the way things were done 15, 17, 18, 20 years ago. But what advice would you offer parents today?
You know, there's a lot of things that could go on for
a long
time. You know, and it's easy for me to sit here and say, "Oh, my kids are successful," but you know, I coached a lot of young kids that were successful. You got to kind of roll with the punches. You know, I grew up in the same. I have 5 brothers and sisters, extremely good athletes. My brother Matt, we know the story. My brother Nathan was an incredible athlete. I think my 2 sisters still hold the record for number of letters at O'Galley High School.
Really?
Sports, yeah. Lindsay and Laura Walters. My other Christina was a great volleyball player. She still comes to Jenna's games all the time. So, you know, I kind of had that background with my dad and mom. You know, some good teachers in that. And Angie, you know, obviously her parents also. She was a good softball player. But you can't get too discouraged when things don't go your way in sports. You know, I remember just one example was Andrew's first game was against University of Florida at Miami.
Ooh.
We all showed. He didn't play. No big deal, right? Oh, it's not the coach's fault. He didn't play.
Right.
Second series, he didn't play. And then he became one of the greatest pitchers to pitch there.
Right.
Statistically speaking. So, you can't get upset. It's a long road for kids. They make mistakes. Keep encouraging them. Keep them going. Don't just. I see a lot of parents. It's fun to people watch at a volleyball event.
Right.
And, the world's not going to end today.
No.
Because you lost that game. Put it in perspective. Have your kid keep working hard. But I will say this. You do have to encourage them to work. And nothing comes without that. And so encourage them to work. You can't force them, but, you got to encourage them. And
one of them was out in the barn working when I got here.
yeah, well, no, this is a work farm sometimes.
Right.
But, and then sometimes they go too far, take it too far.
Right.
Jenna, there's a couple times like, Jenna, you can't go to the gym 5 days a week. It's
Right.
not going to help your game that much, it's kind of thing. So I think Angie agrees with me. You got to go with the punches, have some fun. Andrew, some interesting things. His career in high school, a great coach, Kevin McLean, taught both the boys how to pitch. We didn't have a lot of really good players there, and they weren't bad. They're great kids. Didn't win a lot of games. A lot of people, why didn't he? Well, sometimes adversity is good. Sometimes it makes you dig deeper.
Well, and here's the other thing, too, that stuck out to me. Loyalty seems to be big in this family. Miami, Bayside, even at a time when, maybe the transfer, because that didn't take effect till 2012. But so maybe they had the opportunity to, but it was always Bayside. It was Miami. Talk about the loyalty aspect and where that comes from in the family.
I think also you're trusting the process, but you're doing it with the coaches along the way that are invested in your kid,
Right?
In your kids, and that's just worth so much more than maybe a win,
Right?
because they're investing and they're teaching your kids, and they're also teaching them how to be good humans, and that's what we're working on. So I think that goes a long way.
We're thankful for Nicole Hunt and Kevin McLean and the assistants. There's a lot of good ones there at Bayside, we're part of something. Andrew and Brian made Bayside baseball better.
Yes.
Definitely. Allie and Jenna had the opportunity. Bayside volleyball was very relevant this year.
Big part of building that program.
Big part of building that program. And I'll tell this story. My brother Matt was an incredible football player. Okay, we all know that. He went to O'Galley, and you ran a story recently about O'Galley won its first game. No, when Matt played there, they won
Right.
games. And the lure to go to Palm Bay High School was there, and I'll never forget this. My dad, he was a tough guy, real tough guy. He told Matt, I can remember like yesterday, you go make O'Galley better.
Right.
You don't go to Palm Bay, because the pressure to go to Palm Bay
Right.
is the state title. And I can't speak for kids that have done that, and I don't blame them from time to time, but it was just our motto was that was just our motto.
Yeah.
You're gonna go there. You're gonna do the best you can, and the cards will lay where they lay. And I think that's another thing that a lot of parents don't. They get caught up in. They're gonna be not seen. Trust me, when your kid can play a sport, they know it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah, they do.
You report on it. There ain't a kid in this county.
Yep.
You don't know who can.
That's exactly right.
So that was our motto. Not to in today's world, the transfer portal and things like that.
And I love the way they carry themselves about it. There's a way you carry yourself when you're a successful athlete, and there's a way you don't carry your success self. And I think that what you have instilled in them to carry themselves speaks volumes.
I remember meeting Andrew's last game was at Palm Bay High School, and we lost in the district. It was I think it was to O'Galley. And Bob Collins, by the way, is one of our family's best friends.
Love Bobby.
Bob. He's at all the weddings.
Love him.
He's at the funerals. Not to play for Bob was hard not to.
Right.
That's
Sure.
the thing. And but he came to me after the game and he said, he was proud of Andrew. And he said, his day is only beginning. I thought, well, maybe he'll make college ball. Maybe,
Right.
Who knows? So that was important, and Bob knew it, and people that Andrew could play sports. And the point of that was not Andrew; it was just that you work hard. You can make it when it comes to that kind of stuff.
you've had the opportunity to deal with a lot of success with your children, but what a lot of people don't understand is that no matter how successful you are, come the failures. We talked about Brian's injury, and so and that's not a failure. That's just something that comes up that you have to work through. So talk a little bit about that when you have success and your children are so very good at everything they do, but there are those failing moments or those moments that don't happen very often, like a Tommy John surgery. How do to walk us through that? How did you help them through moments like that?
I spent a lot of time with Brian when he got hurt because I had to go down there for the surgeries and stuff like that. And we just kept going back to like our faith and what we're grounded in. Baseball, I always told all the kids, baseball, volleyball, softball, it's what you do, but it's not who you are.
Right.
It's not who you are. It's just what you do, and they're doing it well. And so it was really hard. The name was set for the boys to play together, and so that was kind of a hard thing, that he had to go through. But I think it just made everything down the road better.
Yeah.
Because it's life, and that's what you just have to deal with. It wasn't planned, and a lot of times things aren't, and you just have to just keep one day after the other, keep going.
How tough is it for you guys to shield your emotions as your children go through something like that? Because a lot of times, you can't let them see if you're hurt, because it's like, oh my God, am I cut bad? No, you're fine. And inside you're thinking, oh my God, there's going to be 14 stitches. How do you do that?
Yes. Success comes from some failure.
Right.
I don't care what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And I think that we go back, Andrew not playing that day at Florida, he knew what he had to do. Brian getting hurt, he had to get tougher.
Right.
From a sense of it's hard to come back from Tommy John. And nobody knows what's going to happen this year with Brian, but Brian's been super tough.
Yeah.
He's learned to get tougher. That's a hard thing to do. Watch your brother pitch there's pictures of Brian cheering him on with his, arm rest.
Sure.
So some failure's good.
Yeah.
You don't want to walk that line of, I'm just good. You have to. So I don't know. Angie feels. I encourage a little bit of it here and there. I think Jenna's fixing to get her ass kicked at Missouri. I remember my first practice in Florida Tech. Rob Terry.
I know Rob.
Yeah.
Rob kicked my butt up and down the court till I couldn't walk the next day.
Yep.
Oh, hey, welcome here, son.
Right.
So there's some failures there. I loved it. I remember
Rob Terry. That's
Rob
funny.
Terry.
Yeah. Rob and Candy.
Yeah. Candy was great. Candy was my counselor. And, Rob ended up being one of my best friends there. And Rob, in my opinion, was one of the greatest basketball players to play at Florida.
Well, and I think he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Rob may be the best ever.
Yeah.
And so he taught me a little bit, and we fished together. But, some failures good.
He still gives me a hard time. How come you don't come out? I think it was last year. You don't cover any Delora.
Hey, how about Rob winning the championship his first year there?
Undefeated.
Yeah.
That's Rob Terry.
Rob, let's get together. He goes, Kyle, I'm coaching again. I said, But yeah, so some a little bit of ass kicking's good or butt kicking's good for that. Here
with Angie and Kyle Walters. All right, here's a good question for you, because I don't know how I would do it, because all of your children have had success. How do you keep from not I know you don't have a favorite, but how do you juggle it? How do you juggle that? I
don't really know.
Yeah.
We've just enjoyed it and put it all on the schedules and figured it all out.
Figured it out.
There's a lot of I don't know. Yeah, we loved going to the games.
Yeah.
So the rule I made for myself, and we tried to do this, was whoever was the oldest, you never missed a game, right?
That makes sense.
Because you couldn't go when Allie was a 9th grader playing at softball and Andrew was pitching against Rockledge.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So it ended up even out, right? So then we would all
So they would all be seniors.
It would even out. And then when we got really fortunate. I thought I hit the jackpot when Brian and Andrew played together. And then when Allie and Jenna played together, we thought that
was perfect.
We had time to go to, Beeffoot Brady's before the game, enjoying myself going. And then, but, there was a time where she would go one way, I would go the
We
other.
divide and conquer.
Text back
All
and
the
forth,
time.
how the kids doing tonight?
Yeah.
Where are we at? What are we doing?
I've read an article where you said that you're not a big picture taker, but or you are. I couldn't remember, but you're not. But there was a moment. I think they were at Bayside together where you just had to get up and just take in the moment with Andrew pitching and Brian in the field. Same thing for the volleyball court. That must have been so cool watching them play together. Because you know what? It's rare it happens once. But for it to happen twice is really strange. And, we got kids all over this county that are siblings. One goes to this high school and one goes to that high school. It's absolutely crazy.
Well, it was really nice, too, because Andrew and Allie took the hard knocks a little bit for the other two, right? So
Right.
It was like, I'm going to help you through this. So they both made them better players. And they drove them, so it was really nice. Andrew could bring Brian home from practice. But, I think they taught, the older one definitely taught the younger sibling, this is what it takes, which made their roads easier. No pun intended, but, Jenna's road was a little easier because Allie showed her the ropes, and same thing with Andrew. Because
you both were very successful athletes yourself, you don't strike me as the type that when they get in the car at the end of the night that it would be, you'll get them next time. If you were my parents, I'd want the breakdown. How'd that go?
Got the breakdown.
I get
They got the breakdown.
I definitely get a breakdown. Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I wanted to hear. I love it. There's no doubt
There's
about
no
that.
doubt. I could go into 100 stories of the breakdown after the game. And so to say we want to have fun, we also wanted to win.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and we wanted. There was definitely the critiquing after the game, and I think I made them better.
Yeah.
They didn't like it.
No, they're not gonna.
Jen and Andrew didn't like it the most. Brian took it better. Allie, she was fine. But Jenna and Andrew, they.
You and I traded some texts this year.
Oh, yeah.
Frustration. Yeah, I get it, man. I totally get it.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool to see their eyes still light up about Christmas. That was pretty neat. Talk about that a little bit. You see them, happy about stuff like that. What, holidays. What's that mean?
It's pretty. We're pretty laid back.
Yeah.
So I think they enjoy it because it's laid back.
Right.
We don't really travel.
No pressure.
This time of year because they're all coming home from what they're doing, and they don't want to do anything else. They kind of just would like to be around friends and family and here and be out in the yard and cook food, and so that's kind of what we do. We're flexible and easy, and we like to have people over. We love having people around, family, friends, and so we're busy and it's a lot of fun.
You guys, the closeness of the family, like I was telling the kids, it's so genuine. It's how do you guys? I mean, I know you're faith based, right? Sure. But there are growing up. It's tough to keep 4 kids close.
Oh, yeah.
And not have each of them pick apart something about the other constantly, and I'm sure things like that happen. But how do you keep them that tight? That's a secret, man. I mean, that's not easy to do in this world, especially the generation they grew up in.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we spend a lot of time. We try to spend a lot of time individually with them, but also
together.
Together. We did a lot of stuff together. Just general nights, like Allie said, cooking out.
Right.
We do love to eat. We're a big people. You don't
yeah, I'm with you.
These kids can eat. They love to eat. So we do a lot of dinners together, a lot of stuff together. Angie would spend time with both girls together. I think spending time with your siblings is something you can't get back.
No, you can't.
So I would say that's probably and then they played together, right? So we talked about that.
Right.
That's huge.
Yes.
You don't ever play with your brothers and sisters. You're not as close to them.
Exactly.
Pretty. There's time.
Yeah, I bet.
You were asking
one go this way, one go that way when they came home.
I remember one night Andrew pitched a Jim and Brian booted one at second, right?
Oh.
How do you think that was later that night?
Not good.
Right. Or Allie. Like they fight a big game and Jenna sail rockets one as a ninth grader into the suite and we lose.
Right.
That stuff's good, but that builds character together as well.
All right.
Learn to forgive and forget, but hold them accountable, right?
Here's what I want to. Here's kind of what I want to end with here. Each give me, and maybe you share the same, and maybe you don't. And there's been a lot of great memories for each child. So let's start with Jenna. What's your fondest memory thus far to this point on Jenna herself?
As far as an
Athlete, yeah. Let's talk about the athletic side of it.
Jenna going from a little kid to a top athlete for me has been really fun to watch.
Watching her.
Yeah, just watching her launch into being a top athlete. Watching her last summer play. Watching Jenna. Jenna had more schools after her than any of the other kids probably combined.
Really?
To play volleyball. So that was a huge thing for her, making a decision. Funny thing about that.
No, go ahead.
You're editing, but so you didn't know this about me probably, but the fishing part was part of our life. Has been,
right.
Snook pictures and
a
big bass fisherman, and I don't know if you know what's right there in Springfield. But
no,
the original Bass Pro Shops.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So when she went to Missouri State for her interview, they sent Dad a picture of her with the Missouri State Bear and the big Bass Pro Shop.
There you go. You were sold.
I didn't know they do that,
you were sold, right?
No, but watching Jenna go from a young athlete to a much better. I can't wait to watch her play in college. I think that Missouri State's going to have a really good program.
When I walked into Ubrzati one time to do a story, it was all volleyball players, and I think you remember this. The hardest working person in there was Jenna that day.
She is.
She was the hardest working person in the room, and she was from machine to machine to working out. I mean, it was crazy how hard she was working. I was like, oh my God, it was like, in my mind, I'm thinking slow down a little bit,
Yeah, and that's probably what it is for me, just watching her really
For
work
me, it's
hard.
not volleyball.
What is it?
It's one day I watched her.
Hold that up just a little.
One day I watched her leap the fence out here by the horses.
What? How high is the fence?
No, it's not that high,
Okay.
but she, kind of leaped over the fence and she jumps on one of her horses and gives it a good swift kick and she takes off. She
I
just
love
has
that.
a free spirit and she loves horses and they love her. So and with very little training, I watch her barrel race and I'm just like, wow.
We love the barrel. I love the barrel.
Barrel racing's cool.
I love it.
So
It is.
I think it's cool that she has that too, to kind of.
There's a lot more people that do that barrel racing.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I'm finding
It's
this
wild
out.
to me because I'm never doing it.
There's a big one.
So yeah.
There's one in Cocoa and Vero.
Yeah.
They're fun. I mean, you can believe these kids that do it. It's fun.
What'd you tell her about, you came from Indiana to Florida. She's coming from Florida to Missouri. I mean, it's polar opposites in terms of where you're
I know
ending
what
up.
she's getting ready to go into.
Yeah. So what did you tell her?
I
What's
just told her, it's gonna be a little rough in January and cold and whatever.
Yeah.
But I said it's not. You're not going to Alaska.
She ever seen snow?
I think once.
Okay. She can see a lot of it there.
But I think everything else about where she's going, she's going to get so involved and have such a schedule that she's going to love it.
Right.
So I think
She
that's
seems to look
gonna
forward
be
to it.
A minor part of it. I think she'll be fine.
You start with Brian.
Oh, I love Brian's heart.
Yeah.
So athletically, no matter what he does, he played football. He decided to play football his senior year of high school. Jumped in late even. Didn't even train.
Just went in and played.
But he just wanted to do it. And I just loved it. I love his heart for all of it. He embraces it and he tries to stay in the moment, even though sometimes it's hard because you're working really hard.
Right.
Toward a goal, but he hasn't changed as a person.
Right.
So
I think his ability to play behind Andrew and then working so hard to come back from Tommy John.
I love how close they are.
Yeah, and he we had a great memory of playing Penn State first year or before he got hurt.
Right.
The Friday night before he got hurt. 2-1 game. Brian goes in, Andrew goes in. We win the game 2-1.
Wow.
So Brian, he'll always remember setting up Andrew.
yeah, so he did get that memory.
He got that.
Yeah. He did. Yeah, okay.
And,
Because the article I had was incomplete about that.
Yeah.
Well,
He
yeah.
did get that chance a
So
couple
he
times.
did. Yeah, he did. And
Yeah.
and we don't dwell. something happened, but it's not. It's fine. You know, we get it. But
Yeah.
Brian coming back from time. I've watched him work extremely hard. That a lot of people don't. I mean, if you haven't seen what it takes with that surgery to come back, it's incredible.
It is incredible.
It's incredible. I mean, it is sleepless nights. It's hurting. It's
You either do it or you don't.
you either do it or you don't. It's
Right.
tough. It's tough. So, you know, that's probably my best sports moment of Brian is doing that.
How about Allie?
The 2000 when we went to the Final Four was softball.
Yeah, it was
I don't know if
cool.
You remember she hit that home run
Yeah,
in the regional final?
I do.
And, you know, and that's toughness. You know, Allie's a tough player.
That was against the team with the mascot with the dog, right?
Yeah. Hit the ball to right.
Yeah.
And Allie's a prim and proper girl. You know, she likes to wear nice clothes and dress nice, and she'd get in the dirt. And she was a tough catcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
she was
loved
a
it.
very good middle at Bayside. You know, she one thing she has that Jenna doesn't have. She has a team MVP.
Wow,
At
okay,
Bayside.
that's cool.
Yeah, she was a really good player there. But she tough. Allie's tough. So I could name 10 of Allie's greatest moments. But I think that home run will probably go down.
Yeah, that was a pretty big
Go down in
moment.
school history, right?
Yeah.
You know,
That's a big moment.
It's a huge moment.
Yeah.
You know, she hit it, and the team went on, and we really had a chance to win that Final Four. I don't know if you remember it.
I
but
do remember.
We really had a chance that game in the first. Just didn't go our way. A couple bad plays and things like that.
That was huge. That was really huge.
But yeah, for sure.
Allie.
For me, I loved watching her lead in both softball and volleyball.
Uh-huh.
She kind of led the same way. She kind of no BS type situation.
Right.
Like, but she was good at also keeping the team together. But I think for me, being a catcher for 4 years at Florida Tech,
Yeah.
she did not love catching,
Right.
but she did a great job at it. She kind of fell into it. And
Did you? What position?
I was a catcher.
You were okay. I was going to
And
say
so
okay.
she didn't love it, but she fell into it, and then they needed her, and so she kept doing it.
Who did you play for at Florida Tech?
Nancy Bodke.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And so secretly inside, I loved watching.
You love watching. Oh, of course you did.
Because
Absolutely.
I felt kind of like I was watching myself, sort
Yeah,
of, but it was fun.
of course.
She really embraced it, but I loved watching her lead the two teams. I mean, she really loved it. She loved the girls.
And she was a captain on the volleyball team, and yeah, absolutely.
Softball,
Andrew,
yeah. Oh man.
was it the draft? Was it? Well, I mean, you know, because you were pretty stoked up, man, when he came out of that bullpen in the ALDS.
I'd have to say that was probably my favorite moment.
Yeah.
And then when he struck Juan Soto out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That one will go down as, you know, but I don't know if that's the most proud. I think the most proud was passing on the draft, going back to Miami, and then leading his team.
Yes.
You know, and being a leader. You know, Andrew was somewhat of a follower when he first got there, but he went back. He got his degree in School of Business, which is tough.
Yes, it is.
In Miami, very tough. We're hoping Brian can make it through. No, he will. Brian's a straight A student. But you know, that was probably my most proud moment, was to do that. And you know, and then obviously I was there, you know, in the ALDS when he threw against Detroit. And I'm sorry, that was in the what series
Yeah,
was that?
that was the ALDS.
Okay, yeah. So, you know, I you know, we were there and watched him run out there. It was like, this can't be, you know,
It's not real.
This can't be happening right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's a kid who gets to live a childhood dream by running out there, and we, you know, we don't see him any better than any other kid, but it's a.
Did you expect him to get drafted as early as he did?
We did.
Yeah.
We kind of knew.
I thought he would,
I didn't
too.
think when he went to college we did.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I'm talking about for this Jeff. I thought he would.
Yeah.
So what's your moment?
I agree with all of those.
Right, sure.
I think mine's going to go kind of way back.
Sure.
A little bit. I remember having a conversation with Andrew his senior year of high school. Because we had players and a team, but we didn't always win.
Right.
So there's a lot of times when he would pitch and then we would end up still losing the game or whatever. And things were starting to get a little weary, you know, come senior year. And we had the conversation just about like being a good teammate, being like, this stuff's going to happen. This is going to make you a better person. You know, you don't want to tick everybody off, you know, and lose friends and teammates.
No.
So I think it was just the teaching moments to try to teach them to just hang in there and stick with it and be a good teammate, because that's what's going to last.
Forever.
That's what's going to last. And so that's kind of mine. I remember the conversation. I remember just trying to teach him, these things, this adversity is going to happen, and you just got to trust the process, and just keep your cool and keep your friends and stuff as you're going.
Right.
Keep your, so that you're making an impression on people too, and you're being a good teammate.
Right. It's not all about, sometimes you just got to lead by example and help your teammates. And I mean, I can remember real quick, I'm sure you probably have moments like this where, I can remember one time striking out the side and getting real cocky. And my dad, man, he would not have any of that. That's a bad teammate. And you're, run and lessons learned, because being the best teammate is also about being a good sibling and a good student.
Got to be a good teammate.
Yep.
You have to be.
Yeah.
What do you want everybody to know about your family? What should we take away from this?
I think a family that loves each other, encourages each other, but also holds each other accountable.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, we are a faith-based family, Christian family, but we do hold each other accountable, and that doesn't go without saying.
Right.
And so I think a friendly family. We pull for all Brevard athletes. We do.
Yeah.
We want all the kids to be
Absolutely
successful, and the coaches to be successful. And it's hard a lot of times when your kids are at the top for parents to understand that. But I encourage, I have parents encourage all the time. Hey, just keep grinding. It's going to come.
What do you think?
I've always told the kids too, and I think they've heard me say this, since they were little, but, love God, love people. And so love people along the way, all of them.
All of them.
No matter what season you're in, no matter what, even in the off season, whatever it is, we love that. And that's why, I've always tried to teach them that, like I said, baseball, softball, volleyball, it's what you're doing, but it doesn't define you all the way.
It's not who you are.
And so I think just trying to love on all of our people along the way, and there's more to come, is kind of where we try to do that as a family.
I love it. Guys, thank you both for having us in the house and tonight in your home, your beautiful home. And this is going to be a lot of fun. This, as this playing back right now, obviously we record this. And so this is a lot of fun. But listen, all of you out there, lot we can learn. And the Walters, it's hard to believe. Let me ask you about that. Hold on. I got one more.
Keep going.
The empty nester thing. Talk about that. I'm curious about that.
Well, we're still going to be busy.
Right.
Because we're going to have to travel, here and there for the
Sure.
kids. But we're going to have some fun.
God, yes, indeed, I would imagine.
Alan, I've sat in those bleachers for too long. I'm going to have some fun.
We're going to go fishing.
Now we're going to go fishing again. I'm going to go watch some volleyball in Missouri, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're going to Conference USA next year, so we have some games.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yep.
We'll go to Miami, on the weekends, I'm sure. We'll spend some time with Allie. And, I'd like to, if I ever could, to visit a lot of the Major League stadiums that I've never been to.
There you go. That's a cool.
I'm looking forward to that. But we're still young. I think we're still young. I don't know. I don't know if I'm young.
Where are the Guardians training? Are they one of those ones that go to Arizona?
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah,
Well,
Arizona.
And Alan, I don't like Arizona.
Yeah, no, it's too dry.
That was way too dry.
Yeah, it's too dry.
It's one of the,
But I was curious about the empty nester thing. But guys, thank you.
Quiet.
Yes, it is. That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
A noisy household is a good household sometimes, And then when it gets, you're like, oh no, I can't do this. I can't do this. But thank you both so much. I appreciate it. Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you guys. We appreciate it.
Angie and Kyle Walters here on Brevard Sports Network. Everybody out there, have a great night, and we'll see you soon.